Hello. I can't even read your name, but hi. All right, guys. So thank you for joining in. I know it's not announced live video, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. It's only for people who are actually subscribers, so that's a good thing. Hello, Antonio, Diedra. I have the hardest time making them. Too big, too much wax. All right, I'll show you a good way to do it. Ingen, Saeed. All right. Masa al khair, Mustafa. Okay, so before I start, I just want to make sure where's my audience from so I know which language to speak in, because it's pretty intense to speak in two languages. Sometimes I get confused and I don't explain it good. Greetings from Nuremberg, Germany. Oh, hi. What I need for work in Canada or USA? I have no idea. All right, so where's everybody from? So far, I know Germany. Someone from, I don't know where. English, okay. Let's see if everybody actually speaks English. Oh, I remember the Alabama. Yep. Iraqi. I think I'll, oh, just spilled coffee. I think I'll just go with English so everybody understands. And if you have a question in another language, try to comment on the video later on and I will try to understand it or use Google Translator. That's the only way that we can actually communicate. But if you speak Arabic, you can actually ask me and I'll answer you quickly. But the explanation and everything is going to be in English, just to be fair. All right. So what I'm going to do, just the basic regular wax up for this case here that I set up in the morning. And I'll show you something here that I did freehand. I don't know if you checked my last video about how to get a balanced occlusion while you're setting the teeth. So this one was actually treated the same. And what I did is I set it up with a little curve here, freehand. I didn't use anything. You can actually see it. And this case here has an implant. That's why you see this dark spot here. And the other one is right under this canine here. So I'll show you. It's close enough. And then a little to the side here, and then protrusion. So that would be really good if it was being processed, but right now it's all in wax and things could change. But I always like to set it that way, and if everything is good, then I don't have to do anything when it's processed or after it's processed. All right, which one you prefer I start with, upper or lower? Looks good. All right, upper. We got two uppers. So an important thing here is to heat up the wax, because I I said this in the morning, it's very cold here. So what happened is that when the wax gets cold and you put another layer on, you cannot actually add more wax to it because it will delaminate. Sorry, I'm just reading comments as I'm working. That's why I kind of go quiet for a bit. I didn't understand what this guy was saying. Sometimes people are being disrespectful, so I gotta make sure that I catch them before they go away. Give them a nice block. Okay, so now it's heated. Don't heat it too much because you don't want to distort the setting or the teeth. Regular base plate wax. It's really nice at room temperature. It's hard. Can everybody hear me well? Because I know last time I had a problem with the sound and that was embarrassing. Okay, so basically what I'm doing here is I heat up the wax, not very hot, kind of warm it up till it's soft and pliable. And then what I do is I put it on the low areas and start pressing. Not on the teeth, because if you push on the teeth and the wax is hot, that tooth will be... So what you need to do is you press here, and then as the wax moves, you can actually push it towards the teeth. And once you feel like the wax is getting cold, stop trying, because now you're gonna delaminate like here. If I keep pushing on this, look at that, look at that. That's a chaos. So once the wax is actually cool enough, just let it be. I'm sure I'm gonna get delamination here, but who cares? I was using it as an example. Sometimes you have to sacrifice. التقطير راح استعمله بعد شوية، بس أول شيء أعبي الفراغات. So this guy was asking me why I don't use the wax sausage. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. And I said, after this process, because this will fill most of the low areas. And then after that, I'll start adding the wax to the areas where I need it. And that's when your festooning starts to take shape. Because you cannot just start carving in a block of wax. You need something to help you. So you'll lay wax nicely. Yeah, thank you for that answer. I don't know what that guy wants. Welcome to my everyday life. Okay, let me know if there's something you don't understand or you want me to explain, because this is very easy. Doesn't even need explanation. Oh, I tell you, some of the questions that I get and some of the messages, oh. And I try to be nice to everyone, but sometimes they just force you to not be. It's almost like they're testing you, and I fail every time. Okay, so what I did here is using this tool here for just blending the wax into the inner proximals. And I heat it up, and because of its triangular shape here, I put it right on, not touching the teeth, right in that area here. So I bring the wax, heat it up, bring it from the high areas into the low, like this, filling the inner proximals. And then I see where is the wax didn't flow, and I go again, take from the high, send it inside. Now it looks okay. It will still need more adding, but before I heat up this side very good, I have to work on this so the teeth don't move. So another wax addition here. We add more. Same thing. See, again, I'm pressing here, not on the teeth. And especially now this side is hot. If you press on those teeth, they're gonna just pulp out of the occlusion. And always here. So the center of your pressure is under the teeth. And then the excess you push inside. You can do it any way you want, like it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but this is how I do it to avoid wrecking the bite. Yeah, no, we don't use CAD cam, although lots of people have switched to CAD cam, and we do not actually, not yet. I guess if everybody's doing it, then we have to switch. But the good thing about being here in the city where I'm at, it's called Red Deer, it's a small city, and those kind of changes does not happen as fast as the rest of the world. So we're still hanging on to the old way. Some people call us old school. I love being old school. It's a compliment. That means it's good quality. Just like classical cars. Back then, they used to make them so strong and good. But nowadays, cars are just aluminum. It's like tin cans. Okay, somebody was asking me something. Why don't you use Lacron? That's me. You use whatever you want, as I mentioned. There is no rules when it comes to making art in general. And that's how you should think of this, as art. And also the CAD cam or digital dentures, have you seen how bad they are? Oh my God. They are terrible. Some people came here after having digital dentures and they're like, no, we want the old school denture. Especially that we are dealing with older people. So the older people will love things done the old way. They don't want computers and shit. Hopefully I won't be doing this when everything turns to computers. I'll be old enough to retire. Okay, so this is the same. And we see that I won't even be adding wax to this side because it's right on. I might add some here or there, but that's all good. Yeah, you don't like how they look. They're not natural, you're right. And Mohit Singh, he said, I love that. That's a good point. You called it a leaf shape. That's actually brilliant. I'll start calling it that. Because people ask me, what is this? And I'll be like, I don't know. I think a buffalo. There is no marking on it or anything. Leaf. No, that's perfect. Right on. I work with AO4 and still trying as our old-fashioned. I'm glad to hear that. Only finals are digital. You lost me. Thank you, Tasneem. All right, so I have those here, which they are the same as this wax, but all the extra that I cut and I don't waste them, so I roll them into this. I'm really good at rolling things like this, if you get what I mean. And basically what I do, I use it for adding wax to areas. Instead of, lots of people use, I'll show you what they use. Excuse me, that's just a little dirty. So I use this here, I used to, not anymore. Use this to add wax. by, let's say, I have something like this here, and then like that, and I'll show you how it's done this way and the other way, and you be the judge if you want to like use this. This is like a scoop. It's deeper than this. You see how this is flat? This is deeper. This carries more wax, but there is a downside to that. So I'll show you. Just gotta read some. It seems versatile to use to be able to legally. The shape sort of comes in handy. Okay, I don't think I understand what you said, but thanks. ممكن تحفظ البث؟ لا، هذا البث ما راح احفظه صراحة، لأنه صاروا هواي عندي لايفات وما حد ما حد يشوفها أصلا، فبس يعني تسوي زحمة بالقناة وما حد يتفرج فيديو ساعة ولا ساعتين. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how this is done here. You heat it up and yeah, you just scoop wax, and I used to go like this and add wax. Nice, but I don't like it for one reason, and that reason is when you heat up this and you're taking wax, when you touch the wax, you're actually digging the old wax and adding a new one. So it will take a couple of attempts in order to fill it to how you want. And since in the lab everything must move so fast, what I do is this, make a point to it right here, and then I just go and add wax here because I don't have to worry about this melting the old wax. So here's what I'm gonna do. I feel like it's faster to do it that way, actually. And just make it random. Don't be so precise about how you want it to shape, because that's what gives it that natural look. If you make everything unified, everything perfectly done, it will actually look like a denture. It will look like a man-made. Someone told me that once. I can't remember if it was from an old job or something. He said, do a shitty job and call it natural. So I'm not saying you should do a bad job, but just do something that doesn't look right to you, kind of. Because most technicians have probably OCD and like things to be clean and perfect. Okay, so once all the wax is hot, let it cool a little bit and then add more, because what's happening now is if you add more wax, hot wax, on another hot wax, it will just roll off of it and it won't stay. You can be sitting here till tomorrow trying to add wax and it does not build up. Okay, so let me see. Tina, hello. And this is, yeah, much faster. That's how I wax up too. Also use a glass dropper. Yeah, the glass dropper, I tried it. I don't like it. But you can use whatever you're comfortable with. Lots of people don't like this. Lots of people don't like this. Lots of people don't even like this job, but they still do it. So what I'm targeting here is adding the wax. Don't cover the teeth because they will look ugly and covered in wax. Try to keep them clean as much as possible. And what I'm trying to do is adding the wax to mimic the gingival rolls. And that's by adding it just around here, here, here. Don't get the interproximals too thick. You need wax in them, of course, so they don't create food traps, but you need the wax to actually not always flow in there when you're adding. So that's another thing. And I'll show you another trick. soon, which is trying to flow the wax. Do I need to explain what this is? Because I feel like in every live and every video I post, people will ask, what is this? But anyway. So you see here, there's a little bit much needed, not much needed, I mean, in that area here. So what I'm gonna do, trying to make the wax kind of from the top, flows into it. And it's all in the angle that you hold. The whole art is in that hand, in the left, is how you're tilting in order to make the wax flow to where you want it to go. And once your wax is heated really good and nice, guarantee it will shine. You don't even need secret sauce. Okay, so this is now, basically that's how I want it, but at the same time, it does not have wax in the places that I will need. For example, you inspect, how is your wax up here? So when you look at it that way, can somebody, let's try that. Can somebody tell me where it needs wax? Just by looking at it. I have explained that before in a live video as well. What do you mean it's right? No, it's not Tina. So by looking at it, you'll see that most of the necks or the ends of those acrylic teeth are pretty much covered. This one I got like about 1/2 mil still buried. This one is almost good, but not good enough, because you can see here it's sticking out more further than the gum, and you don't want that because that will give it unhealthy look. This one kind of okay. This one needs a touch, and then this one here is actually pretty exposed. That's the end of the tooth right here, so I cannot carve that one, because when I carve it I will hit the end of the tooth and it will be like a hole here. Never do that. A little bit more here, a little bit here, a little bit here. So by doing that, what I like to do is bring something like this here, because it's a small job, so you want something to be precise. You can use your eyedropper if you want, but what I like to use is this little tiny spoon, and this should do it. So you hold it upside down because you want to control where the wax go. And I always like to start in the back. And that's what's going to create that gingival look for you. See what I did here? Trying to add a little bit more thickness to the roll so you can actually have it If you don't have this instrument, as I said, you can use the eyedropper, the glass dropper, like this. You heat up the wax and you suck it in and then you drop it. I don't like to use that. You can use this and just add it. You can use this, but make sure you don't touch the wax. Okay, I'll try with this one. See where it needs it. Well, maybe here. It's a little short. And once your wax is hot enough, it will flow once it touches the cold wax. So you don't need to be like, and that's another secret. Once you deal with wax a lot, you'll start to understand its properties and how it actually works with heat and everything. Because you can see if my wax was cold, it will not come out of here. So let's say I'm here, I have a little bit, and I'm talking to you and whatever, and it gets cold, and then when I wanna flow it, it does not flow. It will be choppy. And then of course it will be all delaminating and falls apart. So what you want to do is wax is in the liquid shape kind of thing, not very, very hot, because that will be bad as well. And then once it touches the cold wax, you will see it just takes it from you. Those little things actually what makes the difference in your work. Maybe a little here. So anyway, you get the point. Now we're back to this. You see where I added the wax here, now it's nice and cool. What gingival line? I'm just adding to all of them now so I can actually carve it. Because if you add only in one place, it will not look good. So now you can see where I added everything. Add a little bit here. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm not even trying to touch the wax. I just touch it and then I lift and move. So it's not actually sitting on the wax. Just the initial touch to get the wax going, and then it's away from it and you pull, and the wax will be like elastic. Okay, everything is good here to this point. Any questions at that stage? I don't understand what this guy's doing, so if somebody want to explain to him. So you're talking about the cervical lines. Why am I covering it? Because I'm going to carve it later. Okay, so now another secret here. Where is that tool? Anyway, I'll use anything. You see here what we created. This. You don't want to lose it. These are good because that's what's going to give it that natural look. But also what you want to do is you don't want that line to be very distinct here. I don't know what's the word, but anyway, you don't want it to be showing that bad. So you want to kind of blend it in by heating any tool and just go like And as I said, work it just like randomly. So now this line has blended. You bring in, you can use this, or if I can find my, there it is. Something like that, and kind of blend it in. Right? Now you kind of created that feeling of it. And then, let me see what this guy's saying here. You have a bulky gingiva at the right side. Yes, good eye. This is actually because of the jaw. That patient actually has a lopsided kind of bite. So they bite, the ridge is actually sticking out more this way. That's why I said the teeth out, because it has to be on the top of the ridge. If I set them like this, I will be off the ridge because the ridge is really close here. I'll try to take it off the model and then I'll show you. Good eye. And you can also, because you can see it here, go like this and you probably see the ridge from under it. I don't know if you can see how close it is, but I'll take it off and then I'll show you. Okay, so that's for that. Then we'll let it cool down a little and we'll start carving or festooning. So you have to kind of help yourself here by the way you add the wax, and that's how it's gonna help festooning later, because if it's all just like bulky wax here and you start carving it, it will be very, very hard on your hand, and that could, on the long term, will cause damage to you. You want to be careful how you work and always pick something comfortable, whether it's sitting down or just like working and holding instruments in your hand. Always has to be in a comfortable position if you are willing to stay in this job for a long time. Because if you're only doing it for the school because you know you're not going to do it, if you are saying that, well, you know what, in the summer I'm not going to be doing that, or you're just helping someone, then all of these things are actually not important. But always make sure you're comfortable. So right now I wouldn't touch it as in like carving or anything because the wax is still warm. So I'm just going to leave it till it cools down while we're working on the lower quickly. I'm not going to be festooning the lower, just a quick wax up on that one so you don't get bored. And did you thin that quality of wax play roll for waxing and festooning? Yes. I'm gonna do it right now. Advice to improve your work as a student. Practice. Don't just read about things. Reading will not get you anywhere in this job. It will teach you a few things, but it's all about practicing and working. And also, I'll be having a new order for colored wax. If you guys are interested in purchasing, DM me on Instagram once I post that I have a new batch coming. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. I really appreciate it when people do that, because they actually it shows that people are watching what you're doing and they're learning, and I love that. I don't like to be a teacher though, I know that for sure, but I love to teach things and not to worry about the aftermath. If you just joined us, I'm doing some wax up here. This is the same thing that I did to the upper, but this is faster because there's no festooning or anything. It's just gonna do it quickly. Okay, so I noticed there's a little bit of, let's use that. Little bit, if you look at it that way, you see that the tooth is higher than the wax, and you don't want that kind of look. Same thing, I'm adding to the thin areas. And whichever tooth that I feel is more exposed, these are okay, except that side. And that thing that I'm doing here is very dangerous, so I'd recommend you be careful with how fast you run those on the fire. Because if I'm half a second longer than this, it will actually burn the teeth. So you have to be very careful, and the flame hitting here instead of the actual teeth. And if you feel like you have to do it, go with this, because you can control it better. If you burn your teeth, don't blame me. See here, the wax is hot, and I can't tell if it's actually going to be covered or not, so I'm going to wait for it to cool down a little bit and then work on the upper. But I'll get the water and put it in there. getting busy here. All right. So now this is all cooled down and safe for carving. I'm gonna be using this one here. Somebody asked me why you don't use Lacron, and honestly, I don't even have an answer for that. I use it whenever I feel like I'm using it, and you should do the same too. Don't use a tool just because I use it at that stage. Maybe I'm comfortable with it, but you are not. So always work with what's comfortable for you. I used to do my festooning with this because it was easier to hold and everything. But then that position here, it can cause some damages when you do it too much. Because carpal tunnel, I can see it around the corner. This here is modified, yeah, to avoid cramping. Because I always mention that when you're working, it's mostly this muscle here and all your nerves and everything. So if you're holding something skinny like that and you work too much, oh my god, you will not be able to feel it. But to have a grip on it, it becomes somehow easier. It still hurts, but I don't know if you can see, I think this muscle here is usually blue. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is the wax is all cooled down. You see no more shine in it because it's cold, but you can shine it with, you guessed it, I'm not even gonna say it anymore because people are getting mad. Okay, so I like to start here, and what I do is you first see where the teeth are, how far you want to expose them. All of these things actually are important because you want to know, as I said, aesthetics. It will be either showing too much teeth because it's an older patient, showing less teeth because it's a younger patient, they still have healthy look, or it's an older patient but wants a younger look, so you give them just a standard carving. And yeah, let's see what Raphael was saying. That feeling when you end the word, oh yeah, I know that feeling is the worst. Look at your hands and they're actually blue. That's so true. This guy actually here, Raphael, feeling the same, because at the end of the day, this here is blue, and this doesn't even happen when I play video games, PlayStation, but it happens when I do this job. You can see it here. Anyway, so I'll start working and try to explain, because there's really not much to explain here. But you asked me if you see something, wondering why I'm doing it. Right now I'm just shaping that base plate to make it look nice and presentable. Because I mentioned before that if you want to attract more business, more dentists to your lab, you need your work to stand out and be different and clean. I see a lot of people go with like carving an actual line around the teeth, and this is I'd say it's a bad idea, because your wax is already making that natural look. And I'll show you what I mean. Look at your teeth in the mirror and you'll know what I'm talking about. There is no actual line that starts the gingival roll. That's another thing that you guys should work on if you're a student or going to be working soon or whatever. look at a lot of healthy gums, different ages, nationalities, genders. So by doing it that way, I'm actually eliminating creating that line. But another thing is, do not make the roots so obvious. That's one of the things that I notice a lot of people do. They make the roots, it's just like bulge right here. It's not always like that. And then when you come to the canine, make it a little bit, but not excessive again. So here, what I'm going to show you, let me just clean that up. What I'm trying to get is that little root, giving you that feeling that it's actually under something. It's not sticking out. It's not outside of it. So you see, like it comes like that, and then it tapers off. It's more obvious here, and then less here. Same for this one here, which I don't like right now because it looks like the root is showing. So I'm going to be using this to actually modify it. And then the same for these, you don't even need to see the roots of those ones. So these, just give them a gingival roll and you're good to go. That's another thing that I notice a lot of people do. Good so far? I may actually add wax here. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see the end of the tooth here, which is a problem when I start carving. We'll see how it looks after I carve. If it's bad, I'll have to add. And as I said, this side does not have to look 100% like this side. Yeah, the same, you have to use the same style of carving for both sides, but I like to give it that random look. That's what give it the natural feeling. And then you have the frenum here. So basically what you want to do for the frenum is press here to form it, and press here to form it, and then what do you have in the middle? It will look good after you flame it. All right, so now that all of that done, we clean it up. Making sure there's nothing. See that here when I showed you the example? That's exactly what happened, delamination, because there is a cold surface and there's a trapped air under it. And that's always a problem. I hate it, but right now it's okay because I did it on purpose. Actually, I can't look at it. That's good. So yeah, I was saying that you need to get rid of any big marks from the carver or whatever, because that will actually cause problems. So you go like this, just go feel it around. If there's anything catching your carver, because once you flame it, all of these details will actually pop. And you probably, if you watch my videos, you will notice the one video that I actually showed you how it's done. So it looks settled to you right now, but all these details that I'm working on is actually not for this stage, it's for the flaming stage. That's what you have to keep in your mind. Because if it looks good now, once you flame it, you're gonna lose it. So what you wanna do is you actually get the details in a way that your eyes see it after a flame. Comes from lots of trial and error and experience, some of you may say. I don't consider myself experienced. I consider myself, I spend too much time in this job. So yeah, this is not gonna work. I need to add more here, and even this one here actually. Just a little. And that's gonna be a problem because now you have to blend everything and go back at it again and blending it with the surroundings. All right, gonna have to cool it down and blend it with the surroundings, but meanwhile, what we can do, let's work on this. Look at that. Because as I said, we flamed it nice. So when you actually wipe it, you don't even need secret sauce. Look at that here. I don't like it. But I won't be spending too much time. I would add more wax to cover the end of the tooth, as I can see it. So before I take it off the model, I free everything that may actually hold the base plate to the model. We'll make it nice later. All right, let's see if this is gonna come off, because I don't think I soaked it long enough. These are the implants I was telling you about here. Okay, let's get this done so we don't have to look at it again. Just be careful where your thumb is so you don't create any pressure. That's the reason I'm doing it that way. Putting my finger here, my thumb, so, and the hot knife as well. So you don't distort it. And then we go to our favorite way, the sizzling. And then just a little bit of those edges that we and that's the lower done. Now we come back to this here, and I added a little bit of wax here, you see. So I'm gonna try to blend it in. Always get rid of that carving wax that you have here, because when you heat up, it may actually change it for you. And now just minor detailing on this, just we see wherever it's needed. Welcome, India. So yeah, not gonna be spending too much time on that because I'm just trying to show you the technique. And right now, I'm gonna try to remove it off the model by soaking it in water. All right, so let me see if I missed any of your questions here. I love the magic liquid. Yeah, what is it called? Secret sauce? Magic liquid. It's actually nice. Okay, if you have any questions while this thing is soaking, I'm interested. Oh wow, it's been 60 minutes. That took me too long. I apologize if you lost interest. It's not my fault. Try to go slow so everybody can actually understand. I've been doing this job since 2010, but I've also have done it before I went to school, but officially since 2010. What should I prefer? What do you mean? I guess you use the wax as a base plate. If yes, why not using... I don't like using acrylic. I've said it in many occasions because it takes longer time to prepare and polish and trim and cure, and it also takes some of the thickness, and I'll have to trim the teeth shorter, and I don't like to do that. So we use hard wax as a base plate, and it works great. Stay tuned for my next YouTube video is going to be actually about this, and I'll show you how a wax drying with no acrylic base plate can actually go into the patient's mouth and will not melt or distort. I just answered that question. And Interiors first. Which one do you mean? Do you mean like when I'm setting the upper or the lower? I like to go interior, upper first, upper posteriors next, then lower posteriors, and then move to the front to the interior area. But yeah, the interior lowers is the last thing I set. No, I don't have a TikTok page. Maybe I should start one. Would you guys be interested in watching me on TikTok? I won't be dancing though. That'll be terrible. Nice. 1 follower. Alright. I hate sitting down, so I'm gonna be working on this. Alright, another tool here that I use. It's for carving the necks. And same thing, acrylic here for a better grip. I don't use this for too long, so it's okay to hurt yourself a little bit, but it's very small. I'm already following you on Instagram. Oh, thanks. Okay, you see here, so a lot of people ask me where this is from. I don't know if they make them like this anymore, but it was a tool like this and it broke. And actually after it broke, trimmed it into 2 pieces. One here, you can see it's forged by a hammer. And this end here was something like this and flattened and curved. But I think you can find a carver's now that has an end like this. I don't know what it's called. Not much to explain here, straightforward. Carving 101. What you need to do is you carve those and then a little lower on the canines and then all similar on the sides, depending on how are you carving, as I said, based on aesthetics. Because this is a try-in, I'm not going to be carving the insides. I'm just going to leave it as it is so I don't get saliva traps in here, and then when I come to adjust it or work on it, and then you'll get all those you know, nasty things stuck in there when you're heating it, whatever. Smells really bad too. So just keep it on the outside. I usually don't even carve this. I just did this to show you. I only carve the 6 interiors, but now I did that just to show you. It's going to try in and it will come back, and then on the finish wax up, which I do like after it comes back from the try-in, there's a touch-up that I do on everything if there's anything that changed or got destroyed and whatever. Just gonna read here what somebody says. Already following you on Instagram. عليكم السلام مؤمل مجيد. أنا أخذ صور شغلك ورتب نفسي بالكلية. شكرا. أعتقد يعني شكرا. All those fishes in the dentures. Yep. All those fishes. So after carving him, I go with this and smooth those edges here, because you see that it's sharp and it has a little bit of a flaking happening. So what I need to do is actually smoothen that a little bit. And now they are smoother. We can shine it later if you want. But notice another thing here that I want to... I guess my whole badge follows your secret. One thing here you notice when I do the wax up, especially on lowers, is to create that roll here. And this is very important for stability and retention. On the lowers, usually retention is bad because people don't have enough bone structure or whatever. And by creating this little roll or a divot or whatever you want to call it in the flange, it actually creates some sort of a resting shelf for the muscles. I think they're the buccinators, and they'll be sitting here when somebody, like when it's in the mouth, you have two muscles here very strong when you talk, and when you talk they tend to actually clench here, and your tongue will start moving. And then if you're opening your mouth, they will also tighten up a little bit. So to have this, and instead of just like a flat straight line, it helps with retention. So it's always nice to have it. So yeah, it helps, because if you had it just a straight line or like this, I see a lot of students do it, which is not even students actually, even lab technicians that they're working, they do it a straight line here. And I'll be honest, not always you'll have enough space to do it, but if you do, please do it. Here's the thing that I'll show you. You see how that shelf here, it's big enough, it's nice, it's wide. Some cases you will not have it like that. The patient will not have that much space here. Naturally it will be to here, so you will not be able to do that. I hope it was clear. I haven't had lunch yet. All right, let's see. Not so secret anymore. Yeah, I guess. I called it secret just so can people feel like it's secret. I guess it's not secret anymore. دكتور أنا أتواصل وياك. أنا مو دكتور يابا، والله مو دكتور. الله يبعدنا. بالتعليقات بالإنستغرام. أهلا وسهلا، نتشرف بيك. The buckle shelf area. Yeah, we were just talking about it. All right, let's see this one now. Tacos are on. Oh, that's tomorrow for me. Taco Tuesday, usually. Oh, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. That's my first super sticker. That's my my taco money right there. Love your work, and I hope I have a great day. I can't watch you at the moment, sorry. Great, but keep up the good work. Well, thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. I hope next time you can catch it earlier. And now it came off. See this wax here? I made it thick so it does not distort, and it's actually pretty strong right now. You don't have to worry about it. Super sticker, you can, I don't know actually how it's done. I think you just in the comments and then you send it, or buddy just sent me some, which much appreciated. Can't say the name, is EL number something. And yeah, I don't know how it's done. I didn't even know I had it on. That's really nice. Appreciate it, guys. Oh, yeah, I don't know actually how it's done, but appreciate the attempt though. Oh, yeah, there's like a dollar sign next to the text. I think that's when it happens. Beto. Beto. Where are you from? Oh, California. Nice. Is there fires or anything still there? Why is the resume playing? Oh, thank you for answering. Yeah, I missed her comment. أهلا وسهلا Khalid. Oh, okay. And you're away from that hurricane as well? I think it's only in the east, Louisiana or something. Alaikum salam, Rafet Ahmedi. That's good. Azerbaijan. Nice. Nice to meet you. Oh, traveling tech. Well, if you're ever traveling to Canada, stop by. Or I guess you're only local travel kind of thing. Nice to meet you too. Man, I'm really liking that sticker thing. شكرا أصحاب الذوق الراقي. تحياتي. Ryan, I think, yeah, you just go on that dollar sign next to the chat, and I don't know how it's done, honestly. I think then you enter your information or card or whatever it has to be set up, or something like that. Okay, so right now you see how I trimmed all of that here, trimmed the edges and the thickness here. I kept it the same. When it's in acrylic, I will try to get rid of some of that. But let's measure it. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 to 5, 4 to 5 millimeters. So yeah, it's I'm keeping it thick all around, kind of here. These are 3 millimeters, 2 to 3, 2 to 3, 3, 2. So you should be safe with something like that because yeah, the thickness will hold into the patient's mouth. I don't think the patient's mouth will be that hot to actually melt this or distort it. Don't leave it for too long, of course. That's another thing. But keep it as it is here. And now we're gonna start the carving of the upper here. Well, thanks, Ryan, for trying. Appreciate that. Maybe next time. And thanks, Beto, for helping him out. So one thing to notice here that I always mention is when you're carving. So if you look at it in a straight line, you want your. So this patient is 75 years old. So of course you don't want to carve them too short, and they don't want a very overexposed tooth. So what you want to do is give them kind of above universal, just a little bit higher, which is right where the tooth start to curve. I hope you can see it in the camera, but that tooth comes like that, and then before it turns into the root area, kind of has a little divot like this. So you want it to be carved right before that. So yeah, that's so you carve this. The lateral will be lower carve, and then you have the canine, the highest in carving, because usually canines are exposed more depending on the patient, and of course that's how I do it for aesthetics. Like you probably, if you look at your canine in the mirror, you'll find it like covered to here or here, depending on the person. So you have to find that middle ground between universal, aesthetics, and natural. Once you achieve all these three in one place, or find a balance between three of them, you'll be able to make nice dentures aesthetically. And you see here, those last three, same. This one a little bit higher because it comes after this, so I don't want it to be too low. Kind of goes like higher, lower, same, same. Then we have this here. You're just repeating that one side. You want to find a middle ground between symmetrical and not so symmetrical. So by looking at it now, it looks unified, but I will not do exactly by measurements how long is this, and I just go by a feeling. That's when you got to let your creative side kind of work for you or decide for you. This tooth here is actually going to need more, just a little bit build up here. I will do it later, but for now, because I don't want to take too long. Oh man, I'm excited for buying tacos with those $10 now. It's gonna be nice. Okay, so that's the carving. I'm not, as I said, it's going for a try-in, so I don't want to have lingual and palatal carves, because you don't want saliva to get stuck in there. So far, this is the shape before flaming. in my opinion, when I look at it, it's terrible, but I'm not working for this stage. I'm working for the stage after. Flaming is gonna change the whole thing. So yeah, by looking at it like that, I will never show that to a person. I won't even let it out of the door. Final touch-ups, if there is any stroke marks, you need to get rid of those, because when you're flaming, it's going to be double. درست تاني جامعة بسوريا وبعدين جيت لكندا. So I'm basically just getting rid of those stroke marks here. There's a little bit here. Sorry, I didn't get a question. If somebody... Even I wanted to know this, how much a dentist earn in Canada. I wouldn't know. I'm not a dentist, so... And even if I was, it's not polite to answer those things in Canada or in general everywhere in the world. But I understand in the Middle East or stuff like that, it is normal. I was born in there, so I understand that culture. But there's a lot of acrylic teeth in the market. Which ones are your favorite? The most expensive one. So if you do your research, you'll find out which one I'm talking about. Bro, where are you from? I am from Canada, born in Iraq. IPN. Yeah, sure. So yeah, right now I'm gonna start flaming it, so we wrap this up. If you want, I can show you shining as well if you have time. Make sure there is no carving wax stuck between the teeth or anything. Because once you do this, once you flame it, it will be hard to change everything, because now everything is going to be smooth and you cannot go back and change it. So you have to be very careful. I don't know if you've seen my video of how I do this. Kind of like in a curved motion, and one hit or a couple maximum. But I like to go all over the place. So I'm working now on the top. I'm not going on the teeth yet. Just kind of warming everything up before I jump into it. Celine Dion is from Canada, but she's actually living in the States, in Vegas. She's boring. Sorry, I was talking about Celine Dion and I forgot to talk about this. So what I did is I hit the necks of the teeth, and now I'm smoothing everything on top of it, you know, all those scratches and everything, trying to blend it. Don't overheat it, because you'll be losing the details. And now, if you see, all these details are gone, except a little bit here, which is okay for now. And all you're left with is those roots under. Yes, a lot of things that you'll see I do is it's either they don't want to teach you in the university on purpose or they just don't know it. So it's always best to go and practice in a lab after graduation, even if it was for free. So you see here how all these marks are gone that used to be here, and also maintain those rolls as I'm working on it. Needs a little bit of flames here. Okay, so now I can cool it down a little and then we'll shine it if you have time. Oh. Okay, let me get the secret sauce. إذا أنا عايش بكندا إيش أسوي لك أنت بقت يمك إذا أنت مكيف على القيمة وعلى على الطرشانة خليك. Okay, so let's do that one since it's cold already, and I'll let that one cool down. And as I said, if your work is clean and nice and flamed well, your wax will look shiny before you even do it. Let me just dry it out with the air. That's way faster. And now the same thing for this one here. Yeah, I've added a monster before. No, just kidding. But people thought I did. Oh man, that paper is just falling apart, so I'm not gonna do it anymore. It's just melted. Let me dry it. So that's pretty much it. I'll put it back on the articulator. Boy, almost put it on lower. And yeah, There you have it there. Oh, I said I was going to show you where the ridges are. Oh, but you can see that the ridge is more towards this side here in order to have a full occlusion on the lower. So it's actually the lower that is away. Oh, my hand's slippery. See how it is when it's articulated? Look where the lower is sitting. And that's because this case was face bowed. And this is the relation we got, so we have to follow it. So what I did is I set the upper a little bit out in order to meet with the lower here. That's why you're seeing it lopsided. What do you think? Any questions before I stop the live? Let's see if that's still in. Yeah, kind of still in balance, which is based on how much work we did on it and how much distortion that could have happened. None of that happened because, as I said, we were so careful with when we were trimming. When you're holding the knife, you don't press too much on it and everything. And then, yeah, there you have it. I'm just gonna look at a couple more questions here. Thank you. What goes in the secret sauce? Go on my YouTube channel and look for the video titled Secret Sauce, and you will see the recipe for it, and you will know how I did it. زين التفاصيل مال الكارفينج إذا تمسح هيك متروح؟ لا، إذا تمسح على كيفك متروح، والشمع لازم يبرد. ما أعرف إذا انتبهت على هالشغلة. Upper centrals upright or tilt? Is upper centrals upright or tilt? What do you think? Based on how much support the patient needs, that's when you decide how to set your centrals. Sometimes I set them straight like that. Sometimes I give them a little bit flare. All right, well, thank you guys for staying with me for this long live. I know it was too long, but I hope that a few of you learned something, or whoever logged in learned something new. I'm always happy to hear that or see that. And if you ever try this technique and post it on Instagram, try to tag me so I can have a look at your work. And also, if you want to order some of my colored wax, it will be available soon. Also, let me know when I post it. It's first come, first serve, so if you catch it, I only do about 31 orders per time, and last time it was sold out immediately. So, and one last thing is to don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get notifications about this live video, because some of those lives that I do, I actually do not tell people on Instagram about it because it's only for my subscribers, and just between us, that's how we do it. Sometimes I feel like I can focus more that way instead of like just trying to get people into the live and have a huge number of people, because I really don't care about that. If one person learns something, I'm a happy guy. So thank you all so much, and thanks for the donation, Beto. I appreciate that. That's definitely a first time for me, so I'll never forget it. So شكرا لكم، ولا تنسون السبسكرايب، and أشوفكم بالمرات الجاية. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.